You'll like this.
Another reason why I want to leave Walmart is that I was supposed to have a break over an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
I asked my manager if I can take my break. My manager said, yep, we're going to get somebody to come cover your break. 15 minutes later, nobody. Went over the radio again. They said, yep, somebody will be there in a few minutes to come cover your break. Still nothing. And it's like, what the Another reason why I don't want to work here anymore.
Yeah. With my Blake.
I don't understand what's funny about this. Like, I don't dislike Tom Segura. I just don't get some dude's just like, yo, I want to take my break. And they are not letting him. And that's just, what's the joke? Because he has a lisp? Like, okay. Yeah, it's funny. Like, okay. I like a good joke, but what's the joke? I don't get the joke. Is because you think he's like fucking disabled or something? Like, what's the joke here? I don't get it.
Fucking was like,
Yeah.
he's so upset. This is so passive aggressive.
So mad.
And he decided to, at work to be like, all right, let me tell you something. It's supposed to be break time. And I'm waiting. And I asked, and they said someone's coming. And it's like, what the fuck? Where is my break?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're a worker like this, all you have is your.
These guys, I thought this guy used to work a real job. Does he forget what real work is like? I don't get it.
Fucking break.
That's it. That's some person's. That's the mountaintop of the day. Is
Dude,
I'm on break right
every
now.
crappy
Yeah, of course it is.
job I've had.
Yeah.
Because you want to smoke your. I don't know what this.
Okay, you guys are fucking weirdos. These guys are so disconnected. So I guess we're spinning off of that. We just watched that clip. I'll probably add it to this video if I'm not lazy and I remember, of him just making fun of somebody asking to take a break. It's like there's nothing funny about it. Like, the dude just wanted to take a break, and his bosses weren't relieving him or relieving him of his duties so he could take his, like, legally required break. And they're just, like, they're laughing. They're not even making, like, a joke. They're just laughing about, like, oh, and they're making fun of his lisp. It's like, okay, dude, like, have you ever worked at a real job before? I guess I thought Tom Segura did. But anyway, then somebody sent me this from Too Lazy to Try. And it's a little old, but it's actually only 3 weeks old. Tom Segura has completely lost touch with reality. I agree. Let's see what we got here.
Good for Tom Segura. He recently had a meltdown on Twitter, or X, I guess it is now. But I'm just going to keep calling Twitter. So Tom had a Karen moment at an airport because
a rude person from American Airline made me gate check my bag so she feels the little power she has in her life. I get it. You win this round. I don't get it.
he had to have his
okay.
bag checked in at the gate, and then he went to Twitter and just started going off on the person who made him check it in. And some people in the comments,
I don't understand. Listen, I don't know what gate checking is. I mean, my understanding is sometimes they make you check it at the gate because you didn't check it already somewhere else. But either way, here's the thing. Let's say that you go out somewhere and the people at the place you go to don't treat you perfectly. Just deal with it. Like, not every one of the moments that you have in your life where you are wronged in some capacity needs to be addressed. Okay? You know, sometimes people just kind of suck. Like, the other day, my wife and I went to Applebee's, and it took them a long time to seat us, and it took them a long time to ask for our drinks, and it took them a long time, then it took them a long time. They didn't even come and check on our table and get us a refill. It was annoying, and I could complain about it on the internet. But also, I wouldn't, because I'm not a 5-year-old little kid. I would just complain to my wife. Not everything needs to be a crybaby moment on the internet. So I just think that that's stupid.
were telling him he was being a little dramatic. So
Yeah,
then he
he
started
is.
going off on
This is why you don't express all your public frustrations to everybody. Talk to a regular person about your stuff. You know what I mean? Just like complain to your mom, you know?
poor people. I mean, this was wild.
What's this one say?
Dramatic.
Well, you're whining. Okay.
So then
You sound pretty ego-driven and entitled from this point, Tom. You've been losing touch lately with your fan base. Can't even relate with you so much anymore. That's what makes you too much money. I mean, it sounds like he's got some other things going on that make people not relate to him. Like the one clip where he's just making fun of a dude with a lisp. Oh, wow. Thanks for your cool insight. I'd sure hate to lose touch with dumb fucks who can't relate to bag checks at the airport. Have fun on the choo-choo bus. That's kind of funny, though. You got to give him that one. That one's a little bit funny. Okay, you got. He's winning me back over, dude. He's winning me back over almost immediately into the video.
Then he started going off on poor people. I mean, this was wild.
That one fucking killed me. The choo-choo is what did it for me, bro. All the poors and losers have the same response. Oh, you were inconvenienced. Well, you should accept that that's what me and my dumb poor family have done. This is kind of killing me now, dude. I'm kind of laughing. Listen, here's the thing. Be rude as you want. As long as you're funny, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? This is kind of funny. It's kind of getting me.
Wild. This dude's ego is out of control. You know, he's probably already pissed. He was flying with American Airlines, and he wasn't flying private.
Not for nothing, but people in the comments are fucking annoying as shit. So I kind of identify with it. Like, I'll say something and people will misinterpret it. And I just want to tell you, I want to say like 2010 gamer words to you, and I can't. So I kind of get Tom Segura going off on people in the comments.
And he had to be around a bunch of poors, as he calls them. And then one of the poors,
I think he was just insulting people, but
works for the airline, had the audacity to tell him
that's why I'm poor. True.
He check his bag because there wasn't enough room in the overhead containers, and he couldn't fit it under his seat, and he just snapped. And I guarantee his thought process was, why should I have to check in my bag? I'm rich and famous. I'm flying in first class, and I should be flying private.
I don't necessarily get that. Should have been on a private jet, Tommy. Your fault for interacting with poors. True. I don't think it's like that deep. He seems a little disconnected from some of the shit he does. I think it's more that it's just an annoying inconvenience, and we all get annoyed. And that my problem is, again, like, you don't need to cry about every inconvenience to the public. It seems like not a big deal that you're crying about this. You know what I mean? So I think everybody has these thoughts and feelings, but like, you don't need to express them to the fucking public.
Why don't they make some poor person do this? And he probably figured the lady at American Airlines should know better. She should know not to ask him to check in his bag. So this is what he said on Twitter. Dumb cunt from American Air made me gate check my bag so she feels the little power she has in her life. I get it. You win this round. And he should have just...
Yeah, it's weird that you think that that's what the goal was for her. She was probably just doing her job. That does seem to be a trend. There does seem to be a trend of Tom Segura not understanding or appreciating middle-class people. That's the weird part about it, because I thought this dude used to be middle-class. It's like, that does seem to be the thing.
Just ended it there, but instead he started responding to like all the comments, and there were a bunch of people telling him he sounds entitled and he sounds like he's out of touch. And of course, these are poors to him, so that really set him off.
I think that's partly a joke, but.
And then he said, all the poors and losers have the same response. Oh, you were inconvenient.
I already read that. We don't need to read that again. All right.
Private jets. When people are commenting that they're sick of hearing him talk about watches and private jets and stuff, and he.
Oh, is that what he does a lot? Does he talk a lot about watches and private jets and shit?
Went on this rant during his podcast, and I think he believes he's doing some kind of Andrew Tate thing. Like, especially with that tweet I just read, that sounded exactly like something Andrew Tate would say.
I don't get that feeling, but okay.
But at least he can be somewhat funny when he's saying this stuff. But whenever Tom tries to do this kind of thing, it's just not funny at all, because I don't think he's trying to be funny.
Damn, are people on Reddit complaining? I don't care about people. What is this Reddit? I don't respect Redditors, so I don't care about their criticism. Recently, it's been hard to tell where the joke begins and ends with him. Maybe it begins. It's kind of funny. His best joke was a layup that broke his fat body and gave him a midlife crisis. Incredible.
Funny. I think he's being serious, and he's actually just really pissed off. And if he is trying to be funny, then...
When's the last time Tom Segura did stand-up? Last stand-up. When did he last do stand-up? Didn't he just have one? Yeah, he just did one in 2023. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a podcast. You're not. One of the problems is you're probably not going to be super funny on your podcast all the time. Because your podcast, it's a little. You're getting a little bit of a different version of somebody on a podcast versus on a stand-up show. The stand-up show is curated. Everything is supposed to be actively, intentionally funny. But like a podcast, you're not going to be. You know. I get people thinking he's annoying as shit. Excuse me, because I guess he talks about like having a lot of money and stuff, and he gets annoying. And he does seem to be disconnected from middle class people. But just like the airline checking his bag at the gate wasn't that serious, I don't think that this stuff's that serious either.
It's a bad sign that this man is supposed to be a comedian.
So don't put it on me that you feel bad that I have something that, but I'm struggling with rent this month. Figure it the out, okay? Like, don't make my life.
It looks uncomfortable there. Looks a little uncomfortable.
Struggling with rent this month. Figure it the out.
Yeah, I think was it Brett Kushner, Jared Kushner. He doesn't look too. I like this guy more. He doesn't look too thrilled about what the guy said. I don't even know what the fuck the context is, but okay.
Okay, like, don't make my life be a problem for your life. If you don't like it, guess what? You're not going to be able to control what people talk about. People are going to talk about things that
What's the context of this?
you don't have for the rest of your fucking life. So you can decide like, okay, I won't, fine, don't listen to me, don't listen to that person anymore. But you have to control your own feelings, okay? It's not on other people to make sure they don't talk about a topic. Just know.
Well, I guess I don't know what the fuck, I don't know the context of what's happening right now.
That it's your mindset and you're thinking like a fucking loser, but you don't have to.
You don't.
You can change the way you think, but you have to accept the way you're thinking right now is not going to get you anywhere. You're being bitter, you're being petty, you're insecure, you're not confident.
And it's a bad...
Some of this is not false. Some of it's true, but I feel like the presentation is probably not that effective. He was complaining about people complaining about him talk about his watches. Oh yeah, okay. If that's all it is, then like shut the fuck up. Stop bragging. It's annoying. People just don't like it when you're annoying and you brag. You know, I understand the entire social conversation about comparisons. It's very real. I talk about it too. When you compare yourself to other people, it can mentally distress you and make you upset. And you should try not to engage in that behavior of comparing yourself to others and letting it get to you. But that being said, that doesn't mean that you should just go around bragging about all the stuff that you have. Some people find it annoying and they're going to express that, of course.
Sign that this is one of the top comedy podcasts. And like the title of this post says, Tom loses 20 pounds and
Damn, he used to look like a fucking hedgehog. What the hell?
Thinks he's the second coming of Christ. And also, where would this guy's career be without...
You shouldn't have lost the weight, dude. You become a different person when you lose the weight. You change your personality. Like Rebel Wilson. Like, I love Rebel Wilson, but she's not funny anymore. And I don't mean to be rude, but she grew up as like an overweight person, and she adjusted her comedy. She was like that fat, overly confident, overweight person, and I think everybody loved it. And she was like sassy and cool. Now that she lost the weight, that doesn't make sense because she's not overweight anymore. You know what I mean? So that personality trait of being that like overweight, confident, overconfident person, it just doesn't make sense to her character anymore. So, guys, if you should lose weight unless you're funny. Then you're not allowed to lose weight. Okay, you cannot lose weight. That's why I'm so fat. I can't lose weight. I'm just so funny. Literally, the comedy's bursting from the seams of my pants and my stomach, and I have high blood sugar. So I don't know why that's relevant, but
Joe Rogan. I mean, he acts like, I just put in all the hard work, and that's how I became really successful. Which I'm sure he worked hard, but obviously a massive part of it.
Yeah, exactly. The jokes don't have the same weight to them anymore. You're so fucking dumb.
Him becoming friends with Joe Rogan, and he got extremely lucky with that. But I think these recent meltdowns from Tom have shown he's hit his peak, and it's only downhill from here.
Hey, everybody hits their peak, baby.
Things are not heading in a good direction for him, and I feel like this is what comedians used to fear, becoming out of touch and not being relatable anymore to their audience. But Tom is clearly not worried about that, and it's like he's trying to...
Straight up, this is why I stopped listening to YMH, I'm assuming that's his podcast, and consuming Tom's content. Tom's. He's been such a stuck-up little B-word. I don't know why I didn't just say bitch. For like the past 2 years that it's ruined the funny. He literally thinks he's the Uberman. What the hell is that? Or something because Rogan put him on, and suddenly he's all about that bootstraps life, even though his dad was a fucking hedge fund. His dad was a hedge fund manager, and Tom never had to actually work a job ever. There was a month-long run of Tom just saying shit like he's so smart and talented and hardworking and rich and better than everyone else that it went beyond razzing. And I actually believe he thinks that way. Damn. You know what's so interesting? It's so interesting because comparatively, if Tom didn't become successful, he'd be a loser. If your dad was a hedge fund manager... let me see if this is true. If your dad is a hedge fund manager, if your parents are super successful and you don't match the success of your parents, you're a loser. I'm sorry. But like if your mom made $110,000 a year and then you're still doing well, you're making 60 grand a year, you're a loser, dude. It's less impressive for somebody who came from money to have some money still and do well, but not as much money. That's loser shit. Oh, sorry. It's more impressive that a poor person whose parents made like 20 grand makes 30 grand than it is for somebody whose parents made 200 grand and you make like 70 grand. You're a loser. I'm sorry, dude. You're a fucking loser. So That's what happens when you're born. That's what happens when you're born with a silver spoon in your fucking mouth, dude. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, dude.
To do a speed run and become out of touch as quickly as possible. Like, God forbid he has to fly commercial and check in a bag at the gate. Doesn't this lady know who he is? Doesn't this lady know he's friends with Joe Rogan? He deserves better than this. And in his initial tweet, he tagged American Airlines, so they pretty much had to respond.
They tagged American Airlines, dude. What is that? Oh, that's so cringe too, bro. He's like looking to like piss. He's like looking to cancel this girl a little bit. Not like super duper, but he's looking to like, let me see if American Airlines will fucking praise me. You know?
I don't know what he really expected here. I don't know what he wanted them to say. Maybe he wanted to get that lady fired or something. But he was not happy with their response. They said, "We know you're no rookie, Tom, and you know how to pack a bag. We're sorry for the hassle today."
Ooh, pussies.
And then Tom's response to this was wild. He said, "This is a psychological tactic that well-trained people across all business use because it's effective. They empathize with customers' emotions. Typically, people feel seen and heard and immediately calm down after this acknowledgement. I still wish awful things on that gay agent."
This guy's a baby. Holy shit. Like, first of all, he's not wrong. The first thing that I remember seeing like a clip. It was very interesting. There's two ways to interact with somebody's complaints. You can either overreact or you can underreact, right? I mean, I guess you could also proportionally react, but this is what I had seen, and it was an interesting concept. If you underreact to a customer's complaints, they take the position of overreaction and they get angry and feel belittled. If you overreact to their issue, though, they take the position of underreacting, right? And so the idea is like, let's overreact. Tom is completely in the wrong. He's a pussy and needs to shut the fuck up, right? So that's what I would have said is shut up, pussy. If I was American Airlines, I would have said shut up, pussy. And it would have been fucking base, dude. I would have been booking the next fucking flight in American Airlines. Not even kidding. I'm that petty. Instead, they're like, "Oh, Tom, I want to guzzle your cum." That's what they basically said to him. But that's what they'll do a lot of times. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that this bad thing happened to you." Blah 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 blah. A lot of times, businesses will take that. It's faster. It's easier. It's less expensive. If a customer has a bad interaction with a business, that's going to bring more negative attention than a customer having a good action with a business will bring positive attention. I know that sounds weird, but my mother, used to work for was a very big manager like White Castle, or she was like she was okay. Don't want to get too inflated. So comparatively, I'm a loser. And she was like, you will get more negative attention with somebody saying something negative than you will get positive attention for somebody saying something positive. And so obviously the first thing they'll do is just try to placate the passenger. And so he's right about that. But the way he says it does come off like this guy thinks that he's the smartest fucking person in the world. Like, yeah, no shit. That's what they're going to do. I would have just said, Tom, shut the fuck up. They'll just shut up. Like, you had to do a thing. Everybody has to do it. It's like, oh my God, complain to your wife.
I think they should give that gay agent a raise. I mean, this is amazing what she's accomplished here. Like, this guy is losing his mind because of this. I mean, he spent hours on Twitter just responding to people and then making all these stupid tweets that just made things even worse. And I'm sure Joe Rogan gave him a call to tell him this, because Rogan's always telling these people not to read comments and not to pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Well, that is good advice from Joe Rogan, though. You shouldn't read comments and pay attention to them.
And this is just a bad look for Tom. I mean, the man is imploding here. This is so bad. People had a hard
like someone who was here before Madonna. Okay.
time believing it's even real. People are like, all right, is that actually his Twitter account?
It's crazy because like the tweet itself was already annoying enough, but sitting there, like, do you not have anything better to do with your day than to read Twitter comments? What the fuck's the matter with you?
I can't imagine he said this, but I mean, he did. And I know some people say, oh, he's joking around here. I don't understand.
It makes me though consider every time I see something with Twitter, should I make a Twitter and like start posting clips on Twitter? I've been considering that for a while. My wife says no, it's not really worth it, but I've been thinking about it. She says the audience on Twitter is too toxic. She might be right, but is it worth it?
How he's joking around. I mean, he's clearly really upset about this. He tagged American Airlines. He's responding to them. He's responding to all these comments, and he's pissed off. Like, also, he put out this other tweet responding to all the people telling him to take it easy.
The lowest level poors get upset as they've been trained to do what... as they've been trained to do when you point out they're happy to do what I'm told. Servant mentality. What? They don't value time because their time is worthless. You are speaking of your specks of shit on a washcloth, and washcloths belong in the trash. First of all, I wash my washcloth after I wipe my asshole with it. Second of all, this argument doesn't make sense for 2 reasons from Tom. Reason number 1, he's wasting his time arguing with people on Twitter. So your time is obviously worthless. Number 2, checking your bag on the airplane. You're not going anywhere. You're in the fucking airport, whether you regardless, until your flight. So what are you going to be sitting there on your phone? It's not like your time is that valuable in that case. You're waiting. It's like if you were waiting online to sit down at a restaurant and people were like, "What are you doing?" They just complain. It's like, "Oh, I had to take a phone call with somebody. I'm waiting 45 minutes to sit down already." And then I'm on the phone, and you're like, "You're wasting my time." It's like, no, you're not. You're waiting on the fucking line to sit down and eat. What the hell are you talking about?
Easy. He said the lowest level cores get upset, as they've been trained to do, when you point out their happy to do what I'm told servant mentality. They don't value time because their time is worthless. You are specks of shit on a washcloth, and washcloths belong in the trash. And I like how he says they don't value time because their time is worthless. Meanwhile, he's spending hours on Twitter arguing with random people, getting nowhere, just making a fool out of himself. But if he thinks he's above these people and he's so important, doesn't he have better things to be doing than arguing with them? I mean, it sounds like he doesn't value his time, and he gets triggered very easily by these people. I mean, a checked bag led to all this. And for what people usually have to deal with at airports when they're traveling, I'd say this is just a minor inconvenience. And Tom let it ruin.
I actually kind of like the airport. At least when I go to Florida airport, it's not that bad. My airport's very small by me, so it's pretty cool. And then the Florida airport is pretty cool too. They got a Disney store in there, so it's not that bad to me. Plus, there's a cool train. There's like a train thing that drives you from the terminal to the main thing. I think it's fun. It's like the first ride, I know that's cringe as hell, but that's just how I think.
Ruin his day, possibly his week. I mean, this man is going through it, and it'll be interesting to see if he addresses this on his podcast at all. And if he does, I'll probably cover it. So make sure you subscribe for that, and then leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about all this, and then make sure you check out my Patreon account. It's funny, I just posted a video last week about how Tom's getting out of touch, and then this happens. So if you want to stay updated on this stuff, make sure you check it out. I think there's about 40 exclusive videos on there at this point, and I post a new video every week that's about 20-30 minutes. So if you're interested in that at all, I'll put a link in the description, and then make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.
All right, pretty based video. Cool bean.